What's going on, guys? It's Char here, back with another Marvel Rewind checkpoint. We are at checkpoint 3 at the end of the Sinister Motives box. Now, if you guys haven't been keeping up, essentially what this checkpoint is going to be, it's just going to be a quick review and overview of what the series is, why you should be watching it, and why it's a ton of fun, as well as some reflections on the past and what we're getting into next. Without further ado, let's get into it. And yeah, so unlike previous type of checkpoints, there isn't a ton of bloopers at the end of this. I think that's a side effect of not necessarily me just making better decks, but yes, that's an answer. But the card pool is still just ever expanding, and we're at the end of Sinister Motives now. You can almost essentially build any deck you'd want to make in this game. A lot of the stuff that comes in the mutant waves is like X-Men specific, even though there are some aspect cards and unique build archetypes that come later on in the games. In some of the later mutants, while the earlier ones is just like a ton of X-Men synergy and a ton of X-Men build out cards that are releasing that don't really shake up the card pool too much. So we'll get into an answer for that here a bit later. Let's talk about what it is. So Marvel Rewind is a progression series. Essentially, it tasks us with fighting each villain in order of release. So right now we had just wrapped up Venom Goblin, which means the next villain will be Mutant Genesis, starting the mutant trilogy with Sabretooth. So originally in this bullet said only allowed to use cards released up until that point, but now it's up until that wave. And the reason is as Marvel Rewind has evolved as a series and I understood what I want to do with it, having really fun and thematic matchups is more at the core of the series now than getting one-to-one accuracy with release dates. What I mean by that is, especially for a box like Mutant Genesis, when a expansion box comes out, especially in the introduction of a new team like Galaxy's Most Wanted or Mutant Genesis, the only two actual heroes on that team that have been released are the two that come in the box. And then later on in the wave, they usually release about 4 more heroes that correspond to that. 6 in the case of the first mutant wave. So if I wanted to go through all of Mutant Genesis, I could only use Shadowcat and Colossus for all of it if we're really being super stringent on release date. But if I open myself up to the wave, it allows me to use some of the later heroes released like Wolverine or Cyclops or Storm or something like that. And also, it's in the pursuit of having more fun and thematic matchups, specifically like matching up with their Nemesis set and whatnot. So because we opened that up, as you saw when we went through the Galaxy's Most Wanted wave on the second checkpoint, I was using all Galaxy heroes, even though the only heroes that would have been out by the time Ronan was out would have been Rocket and Groot only. It's just a way so we don't have a ton of repeat matches and we don't have to use the same heroes multiple times. For example, if I wanted to beat Ronan with only the cards released at the time he came out, it would have been like what, Captain America leadership, Captain Marvel leadership. Yeah, that would have happened, but is that like, does that make a ton of sense in a thematic sense to have Captain Marvel fight Ronan? Maybe, but probably not as much as Star-Lord. So it's also meant to showcase the difficulty on villain release versus the entire card pool, and that has been shown through the tier list we have been cultivating throughout these episodes of Marvel Rewind. We will get a tier list update a bit later in this video, but you get to see where my thoughts are surrounding kind of the villains in this game. So we're moving on here. So like, why did I even decide to start making this series? So I think there was especially when I was making it around the end of last year, there was not a ton of content based on limited or early card pools. The whole idea is to be able to build and defeat these difficult villains in solo expert, which is a completely different game from multiplayer, right? Because multiplayer you have a little bit more breathing room for the most part. There just wasn't a ton of content on building or beating these hard bosses with a limited card pool. Another reason is that I can play as many heroes and I can play more heroes than I normally have and defeat every expert villain. Defeating every expert villain is still a goal of mine. It's not something that I've completed even a year and a half into me playing this game. So by the end of the series, I will have a recorded completed play against every villain on expert mode, just so like I'm a more well-rounded player, especially when it comes to the villain scenarios in this game. I also think it's a fun exploration of how card design and difficulty of the game evolved over time. Another aspect to this would be complexity. A lot of the earlier villains are much simpler and there's much simpler interactions than some of the later ones. As you can see, especially when we get into the mutant wave, the complexity is going to keep inching up, and that'll make for more, I think, interesting television or more interesting series as I have to kind of think through how this interaction works. And hopefully with the video I uploaded sometime last week about reading through the rulebook, I'll have more tools equipped to actually get through that. And finally, it's fun. I think the game is fun. I've had mobile champions fun, and just getting to sit down and record some thematic matchups with heroes is just a good time and something that I really do look forward to when I'm recording it. How it will go. How will it go? So every villain is going to be fought on expert mode. That is the bottom line, and they have to be defeated in order for me to move on to the next one. I am aiming for mostly thematic matchups and decks. You're gonna see there's gonna be a couple things that slip through the cracks, specifically with the Magog or Mojo scenario pack. So you guys are gonna have to bear with me on that one. I had to take some specific mutant heroes and put them in that Mojo Mania scenario pack just for the sake of having thematic matchups throughout the 3 main boxes. It's gonna be a bit weird when we get to it. That should be like 6 weeks from now, so don't have to worry about it right now. It's meant to emulate small card pool as much as possible. And I think this is something that I'll go in my reflections that I think we've kind of gotten away from, and something I want to tackle when I go back into this new season of Marvel Rewind. Also, the deck profile, Marvel CDB link, and the difficulty rating will always be at the end of every episode. So I'll give the deck profile, and then we'll rate how difficult the villain was compared to all the cards and heroes at the time. For example, we have this one from the first episode. It's a bit nostalgic here. 1 pack required, you can see on this deck that I made on Justice Spider-Man. So want to get back to something like that. This deck is still pretty fun. I am a big fan of it, and I think it uses Spider-Man to his strengths the most. So I want to get back to decks that are kind of clever and are really using that small card pool feeling, because at this point in the game, like I said earlier, you can kind of build every single deck you'd ever want. Okay, so then we're going to look at the tier list real quick. I was just making sure. I thought I was missing a slide. This is the tier list as it currently stands. So we'll go through all the villains that we actually added one by one here. So we had what's it called? I forgot the dude's name. Is it Corvus Glaive? No. I forgot. We have Ebony Maw here. He was the first one of the new wave down in C tier. Then we have Tower Defense right above him, Proxima Midnight, and Corvus Glaive just 1 spot above him in C tier. Then we move on to Thanos, who I put at the top of A tier, he's pretty difficult. Obviously, if you ally spam, you could deal with him pretty handily, but he does have a bit of tempo and he's a bit of things that make him difficult to deal with. For a solo player, he's stalwart, so he can be suddenly confused. Then we move on to the 4th villain in the box, Hela. I put her at the bottom of B tier. I think if you're not gaming her or you don't understand the concept of gaming her and just building out on her stage 1, she actually can be kind of difficult if you try and clear the threats as they come on the board, aka like play a tempo game, because her stats will go up pretty high in expert mode. After Hela, then we finish out the box with Loki, and yeah, Loki is a tough scenario. He asks a lot of you. You need to have like a resource engine going. You have to get through 3 villains of 20 HP each, which is not easy. He has ton of stats because of the Infinity Gauntlet attached, and like this one is a 1-3, but it turns into a 2-4 because of the Infinity Gauntlet. He'll have the stone activation, so yeah, Loki is pretty tough. And also the fact that he flips around these different Lokis that get like stalwart, or they get like these different effects, like they can't take damage when there's a side team out. He is a tricky scenario, and one that is definitely worthy of being like a final box. He is quite difficult. Then we move on to the Hood. I put him at the kind of right under Sandman in C tier, or I guess he would have been in the top of C tier when he released. The Hood is interesting. If you don't give him specifically standard 2, which he comes with, he's not too bad, as he doesn't have any ways other than I think like his cape or something of getting stalwart or steady, so you can kind of stun lock him, and if he can't activate, he can't really use his abilities, or like his foul play ability is really dependent on the cards he pulls in the encounter deck. And if you don't let him go through his main schemes, he's never going to activate that ability, and hopefully you can stabilize and knock him out. Moving on to Sinister Motives, we have Sandman. I think he's the epitome of the C tier. I think he's the top of C tier villain. He has some things that you need to take care of, but it's nothing too manageable, nothing too out of the ordinary for any hero in this game to overcome. Then we move on to the second scenario, which is Venom, which is one of my favorite scenarios in the game. Put him at the bottom of A tier, especially on Expert. He has that big side scheme that comes out that you have to deal with, but he has some counters or mechanics that help you kind of deal with his issues, like his steady and whatnot, by putting the counters on the bell tower, overkilling the bell tower by a lot. Now you have a really big HP cushion, so you can kind of just attack Venom, hit him down, and get that extra damage on him throughout the way of doing that. After Venom, then we move on to, I think, Mysterio's the next one, or it's Sinister Six. I think it's Mysterio. I put him underneath the hood in C tier. Mysterio is not a very difficult scenario. Obviously, he can get much harder if he shuffles in like really bad cards into your deck on expert mode. But for the most part, Mysterio is just not that bad. He has really low HP. The only villain in the game whose HP actually goes down on his stage 3. And yeah, he's just pretty manageable. Even though I had kind of a close game with SPDR with him, he's not too bad. Moving on, then we have Sinister Six. I think this one has a really annoying design in solo expert specifically. A lot of their cards just gain surge, and there's some cards that can just make you lose the main instantly if you flip down an alter ego in the wrong time. It's like extra copies of advance in the encounter deck, so it can be a bit annoying. That all that being said, it's still pretty gameable. A la Hella. You can kind of like leave Scorpion on the board. I think that's the one with zero scheme to give you pretty safe flip downs and just keep building and building until you have like the prerequisite amount of like allies or thwart in your hand to clear out that last side scheme, and then clear off light at the end on the other side. I think that's the name of it. Finally, we have Venom Goblin, which of course was always going to be S tier. I think he is solidly, at least in solo, the second strongest villain in the game. Yeah, he has so much threat he puts on the board. He has all these like glider counter activations that he activates. He starts off with a ton of tempo against you, giving you 2 encounter cards plus 3 for the turn. So 3 encounter cards you have to deal with, and his modular sets aren't that easy, or his actual villain set isn't that easy. So he just gives you a ton of challenges you have to deal with, and you need to be like a certain level of competency as a player and have a good enough deck to really navigate through how to defeat Venom Goblin. I use an extremely strong deck to beat him, and it made it look easy. But if I went and used almost any other character, it would not nearly be as easy as that playthrough made it seem. Obviously, that was the goal, to make it easy for myself, because it was available in that wave. But if I wanted to go back and try him with a different hero, I'm sure I'd have a much different result, and maybe even opinion on the hero or villain. Now we're looking at the past here, so this is kind of the playlist of the videos up until that point, ignoring Star-Lord and Ronan here. In the recap, we have, we started off Adam Warlock, Evelyn Maw. Really fun thematic mystic matchup. Spectrum and Tower Defense. She's one of the box heroes that gets a bit of a pass. We got Captain Marvel and Thanos. We got Avengers Endgame and whatnot. Their fight there. Valkyrie and Hela. We got a bit of an Asgard matchup here, which I thought would be a fun showcase of Valkyrie as well. Doctor Strange would have been the other one, but I didn't think it matched up super well. And then Scarlet Witch is Loki, another mystic matchup here, which I thought was really fun. Obviously, it would have been cool for it to have been Thor, but we did Thor really early on with Green Goblin, which again wasn't super thematic, but Spider-Man could only fight so many people, and Thor had a good matchup. So as you see, we try to aim for thematic matchups, but I want to get a ton of heroes played as well. We moved on to Doctor Strange in the Hood. The main reason behind this is Doctor Strange, he's like a street level hero. He's like in New York, and the Hood is a street level villain. I thought it'd match up thematically. Then we have all the Spider people for the Sinister Motives waves. We start off with Ghost Spider versus Sandman, move on to Spider-Woman versus Venom, then SPDR versus Mysterio, then Spider-Man versus the Sinister Six, and then finally Spider-Ham versus Venom Goblin. I think this one is by far the knockout in terms of thematics. I'm not sure how much these actual heroes and villains face off against each other, if at all. But that being said, the fact that I was able to finagle the Web Warriors all to get to this spot. To be fair, it's only Spider-Woman that really had to make it here. But the fact that I was able to do it anyways is really fun and really cool. That we got all the spiders versus all of Sinister Motives. I thought that worked out really well. So going on the first bullet point, the expanding card pool made deck building simpler and games easier. And what I mean by easier is because the decks are so much stronger, they're able to build out faster. The amount of payoffs I get for my building are better, and my survivability is better. I don't have to do multiple takes, and that's a good thing for me as someone who records the games, because honestly I would prefer to have it be a one and done, but it's not like a ton of suspense if you know the deck you built will just beat it 100% of the time, right? So I would say that on the other hand, I think there was an extremely good aspect mix this time around. There was 3 of every single aspect minus aggression. So there was 3 protection, 3 leadership, and 3 justice, and then 2 protection decks. That's as even as a split as I could ask for, because it was specifically 11 villains that we fought since the last update. Yeah, that's really good. I'm glad I'm able to keep that really fun aspect mix to show that especially at this point in the game, protection is viable enough in solo to be a consideration for a pick here. Also, I think we had a really great set of thematic matchup. Like I said, just specifically in the Spider Wave, it was a ton of fun, and I'm looking forward to doing equally as thematic matchups for the Mutant Wave. I already have all of them planned out. for the most part, and I hope that all those heroes can actually defeat those villains. I think for the most part they can. But yes, we're going for thematics for sure, and I think it's going to be really strong getting into the mutant wave. But like I said, I want to talk about a card pool. So for a lot of the earlier ones in the Mad Titan Shadow Wave, a lot of the kind of amount of packs we use were creeping up a little bit. If we look on Marvel CDB, it says how many packs are required. Obviously, for the core set, only one pack would be required because it was the only pack that was out. But I want to get back to this kind of idea of like really low pack usage when I'm making these decks. So we have to use kind of like unorthodox options or go back to like core box options like uppercut or whatnot. So for that being the case, what I want to do is try and limit the amount of packs being used to mostly just expansion boxes. So I want to try and take out almost every single card that's tied to a hero specifically, unless it came with the hero that we're playing, and use mostly just expansion boxes. So like being limited to Rise of Red Skull or Galaxy's Most Wanted or Mad Titan Shadow, like the cards that came in those to make these decks. Now I won't say I'll keep to that 100%. I think the idea is to get those like deck or pack counts lower. And some of the Mad Titan Shadow ones, they were getting to 8, even 9 packs used. And obviously if it's a difficult matchup, I give myself the leeway to use as many packs as I think I'll need. Specifically for Scarlet Witch and Loki, I think I used like 8 or 9 packs. I knew it would be hard. But for some of the other ones, like some of the ones like Tower Defense or like Ebony Maw, I think I used 8 packs there, and those aren't super difficult villains. I could have probably gotten by with like 5 used. So my general thing, I didn't put on here because I didn't want to be tied to a number. But for a general rule of thumb, I want to stick to like 5 to 7 packs used, and hopefully that'll work well going to the mutant wave. I want to be making these really fun and thematic like mutant decks and deck lists. And if I don't rely on a lot of the cards of the past, it will help me make, I think, more fun ideas and more interesting ideas in a playthrough. Not necessarily a requirement when I'm fighting some of the stronger villains. If we're talking like Ensaba Nur and maybe even Apocalypse 1 and Strife or Magneto, probably will go back on this like point a little bit again and have a ton more deck lists open to be used, a ton more packs open to be used. But on the ones that are kind of on the lower / easier side, I give myself that flexibility to try and experiment again. Use those core box cards or use some of those weird mutant synergies that I've never gotten or used outside of my box to actually use in the game, which could be a ton of fun. So I think that's about it for here, and I think what we're going to be left with is, oh, okay, never mind. So I was talking about the moving forward when I wasn't on the moving forward slide. Completely forgot about it. So like it says, with the completion of Sinister Motives, all cards up to wave 5 are added to the card pool. Again, as I was explaining, that being said, we will pivot to mainly using expansion cards for only, and for mutant synergies to come about, little hero pack cards as possible. Like I don't want to take a ton of like 1-ofs or 3-ofs from like 3 or 4 different hero packs from the past. Usually I'd want to try and make these mutant synergies and cards work. If the cards got reprinted in the mutant packs, that's great. And then if they didn't, I'll try and find some other and interesting ways to play around these kind of limitations. Will be more fun, I think, for the series as a whole. That being said, I think all I'll be leaving you guys with is we have one outtake this time around. I think it was against, I forgot specifically the villain, but we do have one outtake. I think it was Sinister Six. So stay tuned for that outtake at the end of the video, but then we've got a teaser for the mutant waves coming forward. For the first hero/villain matchup we have, starting off Mutant Genesis, is none other than Sabretooth, and who better to face off against him than Wolverine? And Wolverine doesn't actually have Omega Red, his nemesis, in the game as a villain, so I thought Sabretooth was basically the next best option for him to have a fun thematic matchup. So and what a better hero to start off the mutant wave than Wolverine, one of the most popular mutants of all time. It's super good intro, fun introduction, and I hope you guys are looking forward to it. Like I said, leave a like down below, subscribe if you haven't already. We're going to get into the outtakes here, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. I will see you guys there. Goodbye. Okay, so here we are, and we're going to go ahead and shuffle up our deck. So we are playing Spider-Man here, Miles Morales. I used one of the second box hero. We started off the box against Sandman with Ghost Spider, so I thought that'd be a good matchup. In a similar way, I think Miles is a pretty good matchup against the Sinister Six here. Should be pretty cool. We're playing Justice today, mostly because we need a lot of thwarting in this scenario. And yeah, it's kind of like a war of attrition. We're going to have to build a little bit for sure. But once we build, we should kind of be okay to just start doing some large amounts of thwarting. Hopefully keeping safe, using our abilities to stun and confuse these villains and whatnot. So that's kind of the plan right now. We'll have that shuffled up, and we'll go ahead and draw up. We have 9 printed hit points, 6 hand size, 5 hand size on hero side with the 2/2/2 stat line. He has these special abilities that trigger off cards in his kit that are just really efficient and really good. And then as a response, after we change to this form, we can shuffle a Spider-Man card from our discard pile into our deck. So let's go ahead and just draw up here. 6 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, we have some good stuff here for sure. I almost just want to like get a beat cop and a web shooter down. And then do we have enough to play anything else? We do that. And then that. I don't think we have enough for the web shot though. We could try and greed for a double here. So maybe we'll discard these 2 cards and try and find another double resource. Go 1, 2. Okay, we didn't find it, which is okay. But we'll just play this out. We might just end up keeping the web shot in hand, just because it's just a really good card for us here. Okay, so I think we'll start off by sending these as 3 resources here. We'll go ahead and get down a beat cop. I really love this card. I think it's really slow tempo, but sometimes if you have the tempo to do it, we can use it. Let's go ahead and exhaust the beat cop. Let's move a threat from here onto him. So we got 1 threat on the beat cop. This is just going to take down the main for us basically every turn. I wonder if we actually just stay down this turn. Yeah, that might be a better idea. I hope that Hobgoblin doesn't scheme us out. He would have to get 2 activations here to do it, but I think we can greed and actually stay down here. Let's go ahead and spend 1 resource to get down this web shooter. And hopefully, because we are playing a Justice deck, so the idea is that we should be able to remove a lot of threat. Yeah, I'll just stay down here and we'll ready up. So we'll draw up 4 more cards. 2, 3, 4. Or sorry, it's 5 more. 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we have a really good array of cards in our hand right here that we can hopefully just have a really good time. I don't know. Let's see what we can do. So go up to 2. Hobgoblin's going to scheme against us for a base of 2. 3, and then a boost. Place 1 threat on each scheme. Place 1 threat additional on the main scheme. So that'll be 2, 3, 4, 5. So 2, 3, 4, 5. He's gonna add 5 onto the main, so it's gonna go from what is it? Yeah, 2 to 7. And then it says in extra mode, place 1 additional threat. And then this one's gonna go up by 1, so it's gonna go up to 21 here. I have an encounter card. Caught off guard. Oh my goodness. Discard and upgrade. This is every time I want to stay down an extra turn and actually build, we get hit by the caught off guard. Man, it's just so unlucky every single time. Oh man. Do we get rid of the web shooters? I think we do. Let me think about this. Let me think about my hand real quick, because this, we know this is the last activation. If we get rid of the web shooters, 1, 2, 3. We could play it on Spider-Man. You can get some thwarting done, but if we play it on Quasar, I think our turn is gonna look like this. We're gonna deal 4 to Hobgoblin and then stun. I'd probably just stun Hobgoblin as well, or maybe we just deal it all to Craven, and then we might have Quasar come in here and keep Peter. Ugh. I think we get rid of the web shooters as much as I'd love to keep them. Okay, that's gonna be back to us. Yeah, that really sucks. Well, we're gonna be cop, so at least we can drop this down to 6 here. We are going to flip up here. Let's go ahead and spend this double resource for a web shot. We'll deal 4 damage to an enemy. Oh, we actually have to spend a lightning resource. I did not realize that. That's not... Okay, that's not the end of the world then. We can do... For some reason, I just assumed all his kickers were... So I think it'll be this one and this one then instead for the web shot. Yeah, I guess we're just going to overspend for Quasar. It's fine. Deal 4 damage to an enemy, and if we used our lightning bolt resource, we can resolve our Venom Blast ability, which is deal 2 damage to an enemy and stun that enemy. So let's deal 4 damage here. Let's deal 2 damage here. And Craven will be stunned. So that's not bad, just so we don't lose another upgrade or support on some weirdness that happens. Let's just spend these 4 resources here to play down Quasar. When he enters play, we'll remove 1 threat from each scheme in play, so that'll drop light at the end down here as well. We could just start swinging. I think we will have Quasar go ahead and attack Hobgoblin here. Let's bring him down to 6. Quasar will take a consequential, and I think we'll just have our identity thwart for 2 off of the main. And that's gonna be it. We're gonna ready up. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here. Okay, Web of Life and Destiny, Arachnobatics, Jessica Jones. We'll see what we can do. This is gonna go up to 4. Hobgoblin's gonna go ahead and attack us here. I think we just take this, so it's a base of 1, 2, 3. Then it says after Hobgoblin attacks and damages you, take 2 indirect damage. So he's gonna do 5 damage in total. That's fine. We'll take it all on our identity. Go from 9 down to 4. Counter card here. One revealed. The villain with the highest activation order attacks you with +X attacks where X is the highest. Okay, so that's just gonna eat Craven's stun status here. It's really good. We got to cancel that in counter card. Okay, and that's back to us. So I think we want to flip down against Craven here for sure. I think we have to end up playing an under surveillance. So let's use a B cop first and foremost. Let's drop this down to 3. We could. I'm trying to see what we want to do here. I think we for sure want to knock Hobgoblin. Do we want to knock Hobgoblin out, or do we want to knock Craven out? I think we want to knock out Hobgoblin here, so we'll swing for 4. That'll knock him out. It says when defeated, remove 4 threat from a side scheme. That's going to drop this down to 16. Man, I don't know. That losing the web shooter, I feel like was such a big tempo hit, but we're gonna have to play through it. I'm looking at this hand here, and it's just like really awkward. We could go like, probably the under surveillance is probably just gonna be better long term. So I think what we have to do, maybe we keep Jessica. We'll spend these 2 resources. Yeah, we'll spend these 2 resources to get this under surveillance on the main. We'll spend 1 resource here just to get the web and life and destiny for free because we have the web warrior trait. And actually, I think we're gonna leave what's his face up, Hobgoblin up with 1 health because I forgot I need to recover. So that doesn't. I forgot I planned on doing that. So that's not like a huge take back here. He'll have 1 health left. And then this should be back at 20. Yeah, and let's say I just exhausted for recovery instead because I'm looking a bit low. Go back up to 8. All right, and then we'll just ready up here. So we'll drop 5 more cards. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, it's gonna go up to 4. Craven's gonna scheme for base of 1, 2, 3. So that's gonna go up to 7. We have 1 encounter card. In expert mode, this card cannot be canceled and it gains insight 1. So it's going to go up to 8. So luckily it pops at 12 now. If Electro, so we have to put Electro and Craven in play. Craven is played, discard the lowest cost card you control. So we have to put Electro in play as well. So it says if Electro's in play, discard the highest cost. If Craven's in play, discard the lowest cost card you control. I think we're just going to get rid of the web here. We don't have any like spiders in our hand at all. And that's going to be that. Oh, wait. I think it's under surveillance actually, right? Oof. Would that mean that means the main would just pop instantly, right? Okay, so actually I think it's under surveillance. So that is a card we control. So then that would be discarded. So this would continue. So this would pop and it would say choose a random, set aside a real at random, put it into play and place the active counter on it. And then we also get an encounter card, and it's gonna come in with 3. So I think that's how that works. We're gonna get one of these at random. They're gonna get the active counter. We'll just choose the middle one here. So Scorpion here. All right. And he's gonna get the active counter, and then I get a face out encounter card, which is gonna resolve because we're still resolving life size decoy. He has toughness, and we cannot thwart side schemes. Okay, that's back to us. Well, that's not great. We lost our under surveillance kind of protection. We've lost so many things here. How do we recover? We're gonna just start off with a beat cop as always. I didn't even like shuffle anything in, man. This is rough. This is confused, and this one's stun. I feel like we have to. I want to play down a Mockingbird for sure. I just think we need to take tempo back. So I want to play down Mockingbird just to stun probably Scorpion here. And then defense mechanism or spider camouflage. Which one is better? It's probably the power within, right? So we're just gonna do that. So let's spend 3 resources here. Let's get down Mockingbird. We're gonna stun an enemy. Let's go ahead and stun Scorpion here. Let's spend 1 resources for power within. This is the one that stuns, right? Venom Blast, yeah. So we're gonna flip up here. Let's swing for 2 onto, I guess, Craven here. Let's proc the power within. We're gonna resolve our Venom Blast and deal 2 more damage to him and stun him. Then let's have Mockingbird, I think, swing for 1 here to knock out Hobgoblin. So now we can remove 4 threat. 1, 2, 3, 4 down to 16. Oh no, we can't thwart side schemes, but we can remove threat. Okay, so we can kind of still ignore the life size decoy for now. Then we are going to, I guess, attack Craven here for 2 more. And then he'll take a consequential. I think that's it for us. We'll just ready up here. Okay, let's drop 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Not terrible. We could just get Hobie down, get some thwarting, get some damage. Hobie seems like a good shout here for sure. We got some web shots. All right, let's see what we can do. So go up to 3. Scorpion's gonna try and attack us. He can't. He's stunned. Encounter card. So it's gonna gain insight 1. Put Hobgoblin and Vulture into play. Okay, and it doesn't do anything else because they aren't already in play. So Hobgoblin is 3 and Vulture is 6. So we'll do this. And Vulture is 6. Okay. All right. That's back to us. Yeah, I think we want to definitely stun up Scorpion again. So first we're gonna start off with a beat cop. Let's drop this down to 3. Or we can just flip down against Scorpion here. That might be a good idea for us. Yeah, that's probably a better idea. Let's spend these 4 resources here. Let's play down Daredevil. Let's have him thwart for 2. Off the main, drop it down to 1. And then when he thwarts, he deals the damage to an enemy here. So we can deal this damage to Craven to knock him out. And then we remove 4 threat from a side scheme when he's defeated. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's down to 12. Yeah, this is our best chance to flip down because Scorpion has the active counter and he has 0 scheme. I think we want Mockingbird, probably 0 it out, right? Let's drop the main down to 0. I'm trying to think here. I think we want to attack. Who's the worst on the board? Man, this is tough. I think what we want to do is, you just get Vulture out of here because he is just kind of annoying. So let's swing for 4 onto Vulture. Quasar is going to be defeated from consequential. Vulture's going to go and take 4 damage. We're gonna flip down, and let's remember to use our response here. What's something we'd want to shuffle back in? I kind of do like the Power Within, so I think I'll just take that one, just because I'd love to stun him up, and maybe keep Scorpion as our active person, just to give us easy access to flip down, or that's kind of the idea anyway. So let's shuffle up and draw up here. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we got Nick Fury, 2 4 Justices, double life. It should be decent here. So it's gonna go up by 1. Scorpion's gonna scheme for base of 0. Just 1 up to 2. And counter card. Heightened Morale. Attach to the villain with the highest activation order value. So it's 6. And then his plus attack equals to the number of villains in play. So it's kind of a nothing encounter card, which is super good for us here. Awesome. That's really good. So I think we always just end up playing Nick Fury. Let's beat Cop here. Drop this down by 1. Yeah, I think we always just play it here. Let's spend 4 resources. Let's play down Nick Fury. Let's use the ability to draw us 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. Oh my goodness. Attack this. Cross the Spider-Verse is so good here. We get Peter in play because he's still in our discard. Yeah, I think this is where we start turning things around for sure. Okay. So what do we want to do? Actually, it says the engaged player cannot thwart side schemes. Okay, actually, we're gonna use the beat cop. We're gonna leave this at 2. We're gonna take it off of the side scheme actually, because that's not a thwart, just an action. And then we're gonna have Daredevil completely clear the main. He's gonna take a consequential, and we're gonna ping a damage on the Vulture here, bring him down to 5. Yeah, 5 damage on him just so we can clear him out probably. I think we'll just have Mockingbird. Do we leave her up to block? No, we'll have Mockingbird break this tough on the decoy, I guess, and she'll be defeated. Because eventually we do have to get rid of him, which is kind of annoying. We're gonna spend 1 resource here for the Power Within. We're gonna flip up here. Let's play Across the Spider-Verse here. Exhaust a Web Warrior card you control, so the Web of Life and Destiny. Search your discard pile for a Web Warrior ally and put it into play. So we're just gonna put Peter into play here, which should have us, give us really good turns coming up. Let's have Nick Fury swing for 2 on a Vulture. Let's just knock him out. So this is gonna go in the discard pile, and we're just gonna go back to the villain pile. Also, we get to thwart 4 threat off a side scheme. That's gonna bring light at the end down to 7. And then so these guys are gonna even out a little bit here. So we do have Scorpion here, who still has an activation against us. We actually don't need to spend the Power Within here because mostly because that it doesn't super matter if he hits us, or because we have a Nick Fury block. So we actually do want an activation here. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna start beating down on another villain here. So I guess let's do Electro. So I'll swing for 2 onto Electro. We'll have Spider-Man swing for 2. That's gonna ready us, swing for 2 more, so that'll bring him to 6 damage. Spider-Man will have a consequential here. And I think that's that. We're not going to use this hero response, so then we'll just ready up. Cool. All right, so we can go up by 1. We're drawing up 5 cards here. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we have our Heroic Intuition. We got a Stealth Strike, swing in. We've got some good cards for sure. All right, so it's going to go up by 1. Scorpion's going to attack us for a base of 3. We'll block this with Nick Fury. 4, 5. Nick Fury is defeated here. Have an encounter card. Advance. So the villain is going to scheme, so that's really good. Scorpion's going to scheme on us with a base of 0. Nothing. Wow, that was really good. We're getting a really good string of encounter cards here. All right, that's back to us. Okay, so what do we want to do? I would love to... I think we just want to keep setting up. We're going to get 2 encounter cards, which is pretty bad, especially if that, they do a lot of big scheming, but the idea is we want Scorpion to be the only guy who thwarts. We cannot thwart side schemes with this guy in play. That shouldn't be a huge issue. I think we're just going to use Daredevil to attack here. So we're going to beat Cop this last threat off. Put it up to 7 here. Yeah, I think we just have to knock these guys out. Let's swing for 2 onto Electro. Let's go ahead and knock him out. Remove 4 threat from a side scheme. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's down to 3. Okay, that could be a problem because we don't actually want like triple encounter cards, right? So we want to be able to actually knock out okay, so I think we'll have a slight change of plans. We have Stealth Strike, Swing In. So we want to damage these guys, but we kind of like just want to soften them up. It feels like we want, hopefully there'll be some villains that spawn here. But yeah, I think our idea is that we want to just soften them up a bit. So maybe what I do here, we'll spend 1 resource here. We'll play down a Web Shooter. It's gonna come in with 3 counters. And I think we're just going to swing for 2 on the decoy. So he's gonna have 2 damage on him. We're actually gonna use the Stealth Strike here, and then 2 other resources. We're gonna deal 4 damage to an enemy, and if we defeated the enemy, we remove 2 threat from a scheme. That's gonna knock him out. And we'll remove 2, I guess, from light at the end here. So we'll leave it at exactly 1, which could be really good for us. Oh wait, Daredevil attacked. I'm gonna choose not to use his response, and he's gonna be defeated. I think we just kind of leave Spider-Man up here, or do we just soften these? No, I think we just have to soften these guys up a bit. So I think we'll go Scorpion has the most health, which is really scary, and whatever we shuffle back in, we get guaranteed here. So we might actually want Arachnobatics could be pretty huge. Arachnobatics would be 1 for 5, right? Let me read this, because if I plan on stunning him right here, yeah, so we could do 1 for 5 on Scorpion. We'll have to see. We get a draw off of Spider-Man next turn. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to, I don't know why I'm exhausted. Did I even swing? I'm trying to think. I'm just gonna say I did here. Let's swing for 2 onto Hobgoblin. I don't really know why I'm exhausted here, but swing for 2. It's gonna ready us. Let's swing for 2 more onto Hobgoblin, bring him down to 4, and then let's trigger our power within to Venom Blast. We're gonna deal 2 damage to Scorpion here and stun him. And I think we have the main zeroed. I think we have to flip here, and then we'll just ready up. So we're gonna deck out here. 1, 2, 3. We have a swing in. Swing in's not terrible here, actually. Oh wait, sorry. I was supposed to shuffle in. What was the card? Arachnobatics. So that's gonna be guaranteed in our hand because we only had 4 cards. And keep shuffling, and we'll get the encounter card and see if we can kind of, we're running low on allies here, but maybe we can find our way through this here. We're gonna have to see. Kind of playing like this tempo-ish type play style. We just want to, we've been getting off a little bit easy with the encounter cards, I think. So 1 and 2. Spycraft, beat Cop. Okay, these cards really aren't great, but we'll see what we can do. This is gonna go up by 1. Okay, Scorpion's going to. Yeah, we have an extra encounter card. He's gonna scheme against us for base of 0. So it goes up to 3. 2 encounter cards here. First one. Attach to the villain with the lowest activation order value. If you cannot resolve the ambush ability. Okay, so now we can't thwart the main. In expert mode, this card surges. Place 1 threat on the main scheme for each enemy in play. Oh, this is going to go up to 5. Gonna surge into hidden and shadow. Each enemy gets the hazard icon. Okay, and it's going to come in with 4 threat. Okay, so we definitely have to knock out a villain here for sure. It looks like it has to be Hobgoblin, but all things considered, we survived that pretty handily, I think. So that's pretty good. Okay. So this truly is just as simple as like swinging a couple times. I just want to see what I should keep in my hand. I'd love to play. I mean, I don't know if I'd love to play, but playing Jefferson Davis could be interesting here. The fact is that Crisis Icon is kind of ruining our day a little bit. So I don't think we will be able to do that. We'll just flip up. Yeah, I think we just have to start attacking. So I'll swing for 2. That's 6, 8. It's gonna ready 9 damage. So like 6 damage total. So that's gonna knock out Hobgoblin. When he leaves play the Web of Life and Destiny, he's gonna draw us a card into Stealth Strike. Yeah, Hobgoblin's gonna be defeated here, and so we can remove 4th Threat from a side scheme. So we'll just take off Hidden in Shadow here. Yeah, we're not ready to push just yet because of the kind of tempo they took back from us here. So what can we do? Could get another beat cop down, or we could just swing in instead. We could do both, actually, probably. Swing in would be really good, I think. So maybe we'll do that. Pay for 4th Threat, remove 4th Threat from the scheme, and resolve the Spider Camouflage. Sure, let's do that. So we'll remove this. Since we played with a mental, we'll drop this down to 1. And then it'll resolve our Spider Camouflage ability, which gives confuses and gives us a tough. So we have like multiple layers of like protection here, it looks like. Then we could spend an Arachnobatics here. We'll deal 2 damage to an enemy and an additional. Oh, this might knock him out. This does 9 damage right now. No, we don't. Okay, before we do the swing in. Yeah, before we play the swing in, we do actually want to Arachnobatics in. Okay. Yeah, we'll just take these off for now. We want to do it beforehand. So we want to spend it just to deal 5 damage. So that's going to bring him all the way up to 7 damage. Yeah, we don't want to knock him out here because we'd rather make use of this stun and confuse on Scorpion. Then we're going to swing in, which is going to remove, right, the 4th threat. And then we're going to get that confuse onto him and the tough onto us. And then we're going to spend these 3 resources for this last beat comp. So now we have 2 threat off the main every single turn. We won't exhaust that one just yet. We'll just do it off of this. And we could take threat off of there, but we're just not ready to do it yet, so we won't do it. And we will end our turn and ready up. Cool. Drop 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Well, we drew like every single ally in our deck, which isn't great. But we'll have to see what happens. Goes up to 1. He's trying to attack us. He can't. He's stunned. And counter card. Teamwork makes the dream work. His enemy gets +1 scheme and +1 attack. Okay. Not too bad. It's going to come in with 5. That's back to us. Yeah, we definitely want to just still keep building here. Let's spend 4 resources for Nick Fury. He's going to draw us 3 cards. We got Genki here. We got Heroic Intuition. So I think what we do is we do a final flip down this turn. Set up for a Genki and then try and push for the game for the best of our ability. If we draw a Stealth Strike that could help us out, thwart off the main, it would be really good if we drew into that. So we'll keep Scorpion like that. Yeah, I think we will spend this 2 to get down Genki here. A really good card. Ready. We're just going to clear this stuff because we just don't want to mess with this. We'll thwart for 4 here. Drop this down to 1. Then we'll beat cop 1 here. And then we'll beat cop the other one off of the main. And that's going to clear this. Light at the end is still at 1. I don't think we've ever resolved the ambush ability, right? I'm pretty sure we haven't. I'm just making sure because this stuff doesn't. Yeah, the actual encounter cards don't resolve it unless it says resolve. I'm trying to see if we can draw into. Yeah, let's flip down here. So what do we want to push? It's a Spider-Man card, right? So if we want to push here, what do we want to shuffle in? Arachnobatics isn't bad. Swing in also, maybe, do we just shuffle in a swing in? I don't, yeah, let's shuffle in Arachnobatics, why not? And let's draw off Genki to see if we can like cycle a card that maybe we don't need. Oh, I just realized that we flip. Should we even flip down? Yeah, that's fine. We'll use the confuse. Nick Fury will just play on his own accord. think it comes in with 15 threat on the other side. So as long as we have a good setup to get close the turn after we flip it, we should be fine. So let's exhaust Genki and draw a card here for Justice. We probably actually do want that, so I'm just going to leave the Heroic Intuition and ready up here. All right. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Defense Mechanism. Okay, Stealth Strike is extremely good for us here. So let's see what we can do. It's going to go up by 1. He's going to be confused, so he can't do anything. I got 1 encounter card. Surprise! It gains Surge and cannot be canceled. Resolve the Ambush ability on the main scheme. So, and this is also going to Surge. So we were just talking about it. So the Ambush ability says choose a random, set aside villain at random, and then place 2 threat at light on the end. Let's shuffle this and roll the dice. So whichever one's the third one. Hobgoblin's going to come in. And it surges. So does the activation counter? Put the villain into play and place the active counter on it. Okay. And then we place 2 threat on light on the end. So it's going to go up to 3 actually. And then it's going to surge into from every direction. Place 1 threat on the main scheme for each enemy in play, which is going to surge into X remote. Okay, so it's going to surge again. Oh my gosh, what is going on? See, this is what I talk about, like the difficulty is annoying because it's just a bunch of surge. Let's roll it. 5, so we'll roll again. 2. Craven's back, so he's gonna go here. And then we put 2 more threat on the side scheme. Up to 5. Okay, and it surges into, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, that is okay. So we're still playing the game. It looks like, yeah. I thought we had a good showing for kind of, getting it to a 1-turn takedown, and then well, the whole board is back up. All right, what are we doing now? So let's just exhaust Genki to draw us a card. Doing a Mockingbird, that's fine. Yeah, this is rough. What do we even want to do? The life model decoy, this is honestly the most annoying part. We just can't thwart the side scheme at all. I mean, we just have to flip up. We're not doing anything down here. It's just like, what am I doing now? So I want to knock out the life model decoy for sure. We want to play Stealth Strike, I think. Is there a way we can play Defense Mechanism? We can play the Web Shot and we can play Stealth Strike. There's really no point in playing Defense Mechanism though, I guess. So we would rather do Arachnobatics here. Yeah, so let's do an Arachnobatics to start. Let's deal 2 damage to an enemy. Let's just do it to the decoy. That's fine. Then what I'm gonna do is probably it's Web Shot here. So this has the right resource. Let's do 4 damage to an enemy. We'll do 4 here and resolve our Venom Blast, which is gonna deal 2 damage to Craven and stun him. Then we will do this Web Shooter, and then the Stealth Strike, deal 4 damage to an enemy, and if they're defeated, remove 2 threat from a scheme. We use our last Web Shooter for that. So we'll knock out this guy, and we're gonna remove 2 threat from a scheme. Let's drop this down by 1, 2. Actually, let's leave that there. We'll drop the main down by 2. Leave that at 1. Let's use both of our beat cops here. We'll take 1 off of the main and then 1 off of the side, bring it down to 4. We will swing for 2 into Scorpion, bring him to 9, and that's going to be it. Gonna ready up. Okay, got 5 cards. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Double life could go crazy here. We can get a draw off of Genki. The problem is that we don't have the fist resource. Oh, we're not supposed to have 6 cards here. I don't know what my 6th was. That's a problem. Yeah. Let me review what I drew, and then I will put it back. Sorry about that. We're back. It was technically Coulson. I picked up Stealth Strike and Coulson, but he was technically one at the bottom, so this should be at the top of my deck. Try my best not to play around that. We have 5 cards. I don't have any card draw anyways, but yeah. What do we want to do here? So I'm trying to think. So we're going through the villain phase, right? So this is going to go to 1. Then he's going to try and activate against us. He cannot because he's stunned. And we have 1 encounter card here. Salt, the villain is going to attack me. So Kraven's going to hit me here. I have a tough, so I'm fine with taking this. Base of 2, 3, 4, 5. That goes into our tough, right? And that's back to us. So what do we want to do? I mean, I'd love to say, like, oh, we can just knock them all out and completely clear off the scheme, but I just don't think that's possible. So what we can do instead is we can go ahead and thwart. Let's thwart 4 off of the scheme here, and let's resolve Spider Camouflage. So we'll thwart for 4. We'll just knock this out. So it's going to flip over. We resolve. When this last star is removed, resolve the ambush ability on the main scheme. Flip this card. So it comes in with 15, and then it's gonna go up by 2, right? So it's gonna be at 17. So we do have to resolve the ambush ability here. So this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this will be the last one. So Ultra's gonna come in here, and he has this on him. And the ambush ability says we place 2 threat light at the end. Okay. So now we just have to scheme. We got to do a lot of scheming here. So we want to actually oh, we weren't finished resolving the swing in, so I guess we'll confuse and then give ourselves a tough here. Because he's the one who has the activation counter. Yeah, I really would like Stealth Strike to actually, do a ton of damage here. I just don't think we have it, right? We only have 6. This only deals 4. That's rough. Maybe we shouldn't have dealt the 2 to Scorpion. I don't even remember when I did that. Let's just do... Just deal 4 damage here, I guess, to Kraven. Let's bring him up to 6. We'll swing for 2 on the Scorpion here. Let's just knock him out. Now we'll remove 4 threat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then what we're gonna do is Speed Cop, just drop this down to 0, and then drop 1 off of light at the end. And then I guess we'll flip down. Yeah, we'll flip down and we'll shuffle in. I guess swing in. We're just looking for thwarting events now. I'm just trying to survive. I don't actually know here. This is actually for this specifically, I think we want the attacking one. I just looked. Yeah, we want a web shot here because Kraven's at exactly 4. We can stun up Vulture probably and then keep going from there. Okay, we have 2 encounter cards though, so this could go really bad really quickly. I'm just hoping it does not. We'll shuffle up and we'll ready up here. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, this is a very good hand for us to push for the game in my opinion. So hopefully we can do it here. Let's see. This is going to go up by 1. We're just going to try and scheme. He can't. He's confused. 2 encounter cards. First one. Alter Ego. The villain with the lowest activation order schemes plus X scheme, where X total the number, the lowest activation order. So he's scheming with a base of 2, 3, 4. Oh, Lord. Okay, we lost. Yeah. That's so annoying. Okay. Let's reset it.